So I'll call the meeting to order at 7:02 for the Inland Wetlands Commission for Wednesday, November 5th. And I will ask Bruce to take the roll, please.
All right, Ned Stachin.
Here, and for the record, I did watch the video of the previous meeting.
Okay. Andre Simons,
Present.
Richard Berlandi,
Here.
David Fox,
Here.
Robert Eisner,
Here.
Daniel Popovich, Mark Simpson,
Here.
and Elena Carver.
Here.
All right, Chair.
Okay, so for this meeting, we will sit Elena in for Daniel Popovic.
Okay.
And first item on the agenda, Jack Kemper, 20 Mountain Spring Road.
All right, give me 1 second. Let me move on over. Here we go. All set, Jack?
All right, good evening. I'm Jack Kemper, representing Anna Jefanovic. I think you all may know the house. It's number 20 Mountain Spring Road. It's the second house on the right when you go up from Farmington Avenue. And there it is. And what we are looking to do is there it is, is to add on to the house a bedroom and closet. It's about a 308 square foot addition. And one of the things, for a long time, I've heard that this was Max Moore's house, who was an architect. This was his own house. He built it in 1974. So I did a little research because it's a very cool house. It's very low slung, very much designed for the piece of property that it's on. And so I did a little digging into Maxwell Moore and found out some stuff about him. Not that I just want to say I'm not going to go through his whole history, but he was a fairly prominent architect. He actually designed Farmington Town Hall, did the master plan for University of Hartford, and did various sort of what I would characterize as really nice mid-century modern homes. And this was his own house. And when Anna asked us to do an addition, we really wanted to work with the architecture and extend it and enhance it. And the reason I'm saying this, it gets to the reason of why it is where it is. You could easily say, oh, we could build up, but if you see the picture of the front, I think going up would really kind of destroy the architecture of it. So what we're proposing to do, if you look at the picture, is to add a second hip roof pavilion on a smaller scale to the left side of that picture. It seems to be the highest, the best part of the lot that we can go on. There's the back of the house is very much right at the wetlands line. So there is a little room here. And the south side of the house is designed to open to the south, and it's all wall windows. So if we were to try and add an addition on the south side, I think it would just really compromise the layout and the feel of the house. So I just wanted to say that much of why we're putting this proposal in front of you guys tonight. One of the things, and we're trying to do it in the most gentle way possible. It'll be a slab on grade. It'll be just like the house is now. It'll be designed with the same roof pitches, same siding, and just continue the architecture of the house. We really want to do as good a job as possible and be as gentle as possible while still getting some extra room for Anna in the house. And Bill Aston worked on the previous application years ago, and we wanted to get him involved because he knew the lot and the property very well. And Bill could talk about the various erosion controls and placements and drainage and issues to your questions, but I just wanted to start off and saying why we're where it is, why we're building it where it is. I think that made sense. And
Okay, is that the extent of your presentation?
well, I think Bill's here to answer questions.
Oh.
I'm not an engineer,
Okay.
so I'm not gonna, but Bill's available to answer your questions. So I'm not
Okay.
gonna pretend to be an engineer tonight.
Okay. All
And-
right,
Questions, and also just give a brief statement of what's going on. As Jack said, that with the location of the house is really in the upland air review area. And that's the highest part of the lot on that corner of the house. It will require the removal of two evergreen trees, one at wetlands flag number 5 and one right in front of the proposed addition. That the one right in front of the proposed addition will be hanging over portions of the addition, so we think it be a good idea to take that down. We are also going to connect the existing sump pump drain that right now it just discharges on with a PE pipe right on the surface, right about 8 feet in front of the building, and then runs across the lawn over toward the wetlands. And we're just going to put that underground through the area that we're going to remove that tree and tie it to a PVC pipe that was installed when they did the drainage improvements, which was approved in 2016. I guess they found a clay pipe that was completely plugged with mud and debris, so they replaced that with a new 10-inch pipe that runs. Bruce is showing you on the drawing there right now. And in addition to put up the addition, we're going to have to move the existing propane tank, which is right at the side of the addition. And I moved it to the back to between two pipes that we found when they did the other construction. We're keeping it on that side of the house because that's where the piping goes into the house, and it would be easier for us to reconnect the tank to the location that the pipe goes into the house now. We're showing a stockpile for the excavated material, and that will be surrounded by a silt fence as shown on the plan. The one thing that is not shown on the plan would be a pump discharge basin, which would be constructed out of a square of hay bales, probably lined with some silt fence silt fabric, and that would take the discharge of any pumps that they need to pump the water out of the foundation hole as they're putting the frost walls in, as mentioned in the review comments. And they would probably either over excavate for the footings, probably 12 inches, and put in stone that they could pump the water out to build the footings, and then replace the material inside the foundation with bank run gravel and process cap before they put the slab on. So I think that's probably very doable, and it's not a concern to me. The other item that there is included in the application is for the installation of a prefabricated shed, which is put out beside the garage, and that will be placed on probably 4 8-inch sonotubes that will be with minimal excavation, just to dig out the area of the sonotubes with an auger, and then sonotubes placed and filled with concrete, and the prefab building will be put on top of that. That area already has basically a stone surface with some, it says garden area. It used to be a garden in 16, but now it's got stone with basically raised beds on top of it. But I guess it's really too hot there to grow anything. So Anna said that would be a good place for her shed.
Yes, I tried to plant some plants this summer and they were just fried.
Let me just say, while you're talking about that, if I can ask, what, there's like a, where you're putting in the shed, there's a wall around there? I'm trying to understand what the double line is around that area.
The double line is basically, it's looks like some kind of plastic curbing
Oh,
or like railroad ties made out of plastic.
Okay,
It's like a concrete, I think, or some kind of composite material.
okay. And the other question I had was, the the propane tank, are you gonna relocate it or put in a new one, or is that decision gonna be made when you see what condition it's in when you excavate?
Well, it would have to be made at that time. It's probably old enough that they'll have to buy a new one. Um,
Well, yeah, I mean, being so close to the wetlands, it would be advisable to go with the new one. I don't know if, like, I know underground, fuel tanks you have to put in a concrete box and then put the tank inside the box. I don't know if that's required with propane, but, Bruce, do you know if that's required?
no, I don't. I think the tank is new because when you look at the when you look at the aerial mapping, and I see a lot of hydro seeding over there within the last, oh boy, hold on. Where is this? Oh, Batterson Park. Whoa, what's going on here? This is rotated, I think.
It's a little hard to see that.
Yeah, what did someone do? Someone rotated. Oh boy. I'm all messed up here.
it's got the wrong address on it too.
No, I'm gonna, yeah, maybe somebody was. There we go. Here we go. There. So right there, you can see that's what the tank was. So this is September 2025. So maybe the owner can confirm that, but this looks like it was just recently done.
Yeah, well, I've only owned the house for about a year. I'm looking now at whether I have any information on that because I did purchase it from the previous owner, but I'm
All right.
sure, I can find that out. But maybe I can find out right now.
No, it's fine. It's,
It's okay. I mean, we're just gonna accept the application, so tonight, so
Right.
you could
Okay.
get back to us at the next meeting. And if you have any more information about what the tank is gonna do. Okay, I'm gonna open it up to the commission. And I'm gonna ask you have any questions, and then also at that time, can you tell me if you think we should do a site walk here? So, Andre?
Yes, I think we should accept the application, but I also think we should do a site walk.
Okay. Yeah, do you have any questions?
Not at the moment. I think once I see it, I can give a better answer because I'm a little bit confused about some of the wall drawings and stuff like you were, Ned.
Yeah. Yeah, okay. All right. Let me ask Bruce a side question. Is this place adjacent to the Farmington Land Trust
This is
garage?
the building.
Okay.
Yeah, that,
So that little garage building to the south is that garage that the Farmington Land Trust
Yeah.
has?
yeah, that is, give me a second. Oh, do this.
That's something they added recently.
Mhm.
Okay, I just was trying to orientate myself. You don't have to bring up anything on it. I'm just I want to make sure
Mhm.
that I was where I thought I was. Okay, Rich Berlandi.
Uh, yeah, that is the Farmington Land Trust garage next to it there.
Okay,
And I don't have any questions. I could go either way on a sidewalk.
okay. Dave Fox. We'll come back to Dave. Robert Eisner.
Yeah, I agree. A site walk would be good. I recognize it's a fairly unique property and house, but I do think it would be good to hear a little more about other options or alternatives that may have been considered. And then I also point out that the stockpile area is located really right up against the wetland boundaries. So there's, if you put the stockpile there, you're sort of forcing the construction traffic to go into the wetland area. So I think a different location for the stockpile should be considered. Um, and that's it for my initial comments. I think the site walk would be helpful.
Yeah, that's a good point on the stockpile. It looks like they have room to the west, I think it is, but we'll. Okay. Mark Simpson.
Site visit would be fine. The other thing the only thing reading about this, right now, the side where the proposed addition is going to go is like 20 feet from the wetlands, and the new addition will make it close to 6 feet. And the previous information I heard about when they did some work here, it was a lot of water. There was a lot of problems trying to get the work done. So I just want to know how they're going to deal with something when it's 6 feet from the wetlands and they're trying to dig a foundation for this addition. What what protection are they going to do to make sure, as a digging is going to cause any issues with the wetlands?
Yeah.
That's my only
Okay.
question.
And you were yes on the site walk, right?
Yes.
Okay. Dave Fox, you still there?
Well, I was just wondering if somebody would answer about that
Oh.
if they would like to answer right now.
About the stockpile?
Well, not the stockpile, but the addition, the closeness of the building is going from 20 feet to 6 feet to the wetlands. And previous construction on this property, I guess there were some difficulties due to water table,
Yeah.
high water table and everything else. So as you're trying to do this, being so close to the wetlands, what preventive action you're going to take to not have any damage to the wetlands in that area as you're trying to put a foundation in?
Well, the actual excavation for the house will probably have to be about a square, maybe 2 feet bigger than the house, than the foundation. It's the dimensions of the house itself. So that can be dug with a smaller backhoe if we need be, so that they don't have to use a large equipment. And they can dig that corner right by where it's 6.2 with smaller equipment if they have to. And actually, that the whole area of the addition, right now it's a flower bed, but that was the storage area for all the material and equipment that was used for the other construction. So it has been disturbed in the past during that other construction. And as you can see, the drainage pipe that was shown with this sort of like box type grating was actually installed up uphill of what was approved, still in the wetlands to connect those pipes, try to dry it out when they were doing the construction. As the town has stated, it did take a couple of years to construct because they ran into water and then they had to pull out for a little while and then they went back in. I think that they can probably dewater that area good enough, as long as it's not in the springtime. If they could do it in wintertime, at least get the foundation in, I think they could probably control the water without a lot of trouble.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, I think getting to Mark and Robert's point, like, was this investigated to maybe put the bedroom on the other side? So, or coming off the other, if this is oriented north and on the west side of the house to keep it give it a little further distance from the waterway. I know you might have to remove a tree or maybe not, but I don't know. Just
I
wondering
think
if any kind of
that's-
thought went into going on the other side.
Yeah, I mean, when we look at things, we look at all the alternatives, but that is the main living area facing south, getting the light. It's the main outdoor activity area, outdoor of the house, and that would really compromise the interior of the house. Would make our living room, just in the dark.
Okay, so this is going to be a bedroom?
Yes.
Okay. All right. I just, as Robert said, this is the location is just kind of tough. If we have options to go on the other side of the house, I think they should be investigated. Let's see if I still have Dave Fox.
I don't have any questions. Yeah, site walk would be good.
Okay, yeah. And Alana?
I agree with site walk. I also do have the question, and on the plans it shows the location for two propane tanks. There's an outline of a propane tank that says existing, remove or relocate, and then there's another one that's the proposed area for a new underground propane tank. And I guess I'm not clear as to, do we know if the existing propane tank is still there? Or is that a question that you haven't?
No, it's definitely there. It's
Okay.
the tank that powers the house or heats the house.
Okay, so the construction will require the excavation of that propane tank and then excavation for a new propane tank to be put in, correct?
That is correct.
Okay. Thank you. I have no more questions.
Okay.
I'd also like to say that since it's slab on grade and there is plumbing below the floor in that area for the existing bathrooms and connection to that, and then it goes out to the street from underneath that existing bath, I believe. Relocating it to the other side of the house would require ripping up the existing living room floor and cutting through the slab in there. It's not really a feasible operation it's my opinion.
Yeah, if I may, functionally, it would be enclosing the living room. I just,
Okay.
it was something that someone had brought up at the very beginning when I started exploring this. And it just, it's really, it would be very, it would make it a very odd layout to have a bedroom right off the living room. Not to mention, like I said, it would, and Jack mentioned that it would just enclose it and remove the light from the room. There would only be light coming in from the front of the house, where you can see the existing front porch. There are a couple of windows there.
So what is where in the existing house where that addition is planned? Up again, what?
It is a bedroom. That's where it's the side of the house where the bedrooms are.
Okay. So,
Both sides, it's just a planting bed right now that sort of surrounds the existing propane tank with a few ornamental plants in it. And
okay,
um, where the main power panel comes into the house. And
okay. Maybe in the, for the next meeting, you can include the layout of the house a little bit. So
Sure,
we
sure,
can
no
get an
problem.
idea of how important it is to put the slab there or the bedroom there. Because I don't know, if your bedrooms are in that corner, then aren't they also on the wall on the other side of the house?
No, the living room is the end of the house.
Okay.
And we'll portray
All right.
the
Well, yeah.
windows, but
Well,
I think
this will be an easier
seeing it in
discussion
person,
when
I
you
think would
have
really
that
help.
information.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
I think when you see it, you'll understand. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Um, I also think a site walk is necessary. Um, so we will, in part, I want to take a look at these areas that were, causing a lot of problems for high water during construction in the reports is 2016 and 2018. Or they ran into problems during construction due to water. Okay, so uh, are there any other questions from the commission? All right, seeing none, Chair will entertain a motion to accept the application.
So move, Mark.
Second, Rich.
Okay. Motion's been made to accept the application. All those in favor, made and seconded to accept the application. All those in favor say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstain? Motion carries. And I think we had the majority of the members during polling had a request for a site walk, so I will leave Bruce to line that up for us.
Yeah, let's see if any of these other ones, and we'll try to roll a
Right.
date for as many as we can. All right?
Okay.
Would you guys get back to us with the date? Is that correct?
Yes, we will. It's probably it'll be a weekend, so
Yeah,
a
that's fine.
Saturday or a Sunday.
Yeah,
I'll be
that's
in touch.
fine. I'm sure
Yep.
at least one or two of us can be there.
Yep.
Okay.
I'll be in touch offline, Jack. All right?
All righty. Thank you.
Thank
Thank
you.
you
Very
all.
much. Okay.
Thanks. Have a good night.
Thank you. Next item on the agenda, 108 Wood Pond Road.
The owner is here. I saw
Yes.
them online. Go ahead. Start your
Okay.
presentation.
Hi. I'm Julie. This is Kevin Stavely O'Carroll. We just arrived to Rome, so it's like 1:30 in the morning, so bear with us. We're a little out of it. we would like to add on a little bit to an existing shed, and we want to put a dock in. And I'm going to let Kevin describe it because he's better at that.
So if you see on this scheme at the back of the house there's a shed, and we actually started to put an addition on it because we were reading that you didn't have to get approval for an addition on a shed if it wasn't very big. So then our neighbor looked at it and said, "Oh, we would need to get the approval of the Woodridge Association," and so we stopped. And the association has approved it, but now we would like to have you all approve it as well, please, hopefully. But if you see the extension, it's a continuation of the gable roof there, and the eave would come out 1 foot more. So it would be 12 by 12 and have a brick patio underneath it if we were allowed to. And then the dock would be 4 foot wide and come out 15 feet. And the Woodridge Association has approved all of that.
Okay. How does the existing roof on the shed drain? Is it just straight off the edge of the roof, or is there a drainage system?
No, it's straight off the edge of the roof. So it's got a gable roof with the ridge in the center. And so it drains half over toward the shrub there and then half over toward the yard. And the new roof the additional roof would drain the same.
Okay. And you're just gonna have patio block, brick patio block.
That's right.
It would just under the area. Is it gonna match the area of the roof line, more or less?
Exactly. And no walls. The construction would just be 2 piers. And then the roof would come off of the shed would be supported by the shed at one end and be supported by 2 piers at the other end.
Okay, and the dock, it said you're gonna have to have a reinforced concrete base on the land end.
Yes.
And then how far is the dock going out? Approximately?
15 feet is what we've asked for. WeDoc drew a mock-up of it. They've done a lot of work on our lake and the adjacent lake. The president of the association recommended them. And so it's a very simple construction, just 4 foot wide, coming out 15 feet.
Okay. And they drive rebar into the other end. So you have a 4x4 concrete pad there, and then that attaches to the deck, the dock, right?
Right.
Okay. I think that's all the questions I have. Let's go through the commission. Andre?
I do not have any questions. You're pretty comprehensive, Ned. You got mine.
Okay. Do you think a sidewalk is
I
necessary?
do not think a site walk is necessary.
Okay. Rich Belandi, do you have any questions and your opinion on a site walk, please?
I don't have any questions, and I don't think a site walk's needed.
Okay. Dave Fox?
I just had one question about the pier at the end. The piles, are they excavated into the ground or banged into the ground? How does that work?
I think they're banged into the ground, the ones that are under the water.
Yeah.
That's my understanding of it.
I was wondering, are there winter drawdowns of the lake?
There are, and that it's right now is a winter dry down that it just began like a week or so ago. You
Okay,
can,
so
on that film, on that last picture there, you can see what we started to build. So it's so you can get an idea. I'm sorry, Bruce, can you back it up one there? Or there was a most recent picture and you can see that we already kind of started it.
so this work can be done during that drawdown period.
Ideally, that's what we're really hoping for.
Okay. That's all I have. I don't need a sidewalk.
Okay. Let me just jump in for a second. What are those 6x6 posts made of? Are they timber? Are they like a polymer or
The one for the dock?
yeah, 6x6 legs driven into solid footing?
They're timber, but it's a special timber that doesn't have arsenic in it. I think WeDoc sent over the specs to Bruce there.
Okay.
He
Yeah,
sent some additional
give me a
information.
second. Yeah,
on-
give me a second. These are 6x6 timbers. All right, where is it? Right here. It says it right here. Dock constructed. Dock we constructed of saltwater grade pressure treated lumber. Dock is supported by 6x6 ballast crib. So at the bottom, there's a crib
Yeah.
with some wood that keeps the dock from floating out. But I did ask that same question, and I was given, right here. I was given the information from them, the pressure treated type summary below. Pressure treated lumber, marine retention rated for saltwater splash, APWA, blah, blah, blah. All these numbers here. What I did is I looked that up, and what it is a more environmental friendly than the old copper sulfate, that copper sulfate, but the copper treatment that was done in the older
Yeah.
wood. So this is more water and then environmental friendly.
And to the owners, you said that the association president or leader recommend them or said that these have been used on the lake already?
Yes,
Other locations?
yes,
Mhm.
definitely.
Okay. All right. Robert Eisner?
Yeah. Does the framing that's been done to date, does it meet the building code? And the reason I'm asking is if it does, then there's not going to be any additional site disturbance. If it doesn't, or you're not sure, then there may be some redoing of the work that was already done. So do you know, or Bruce, do you know, has the building department reviewed the framing that was done?
No, because there is no building permit on it, so they weren't out there.
And from what I
Okay.
understand is you don't need a building permit to put an addition on a shed, or that's why, it's not like we were going rogue. We looked it up. We thought you didn't need a building permit to put an addition on a shed.
Yep. Anything over 200 square feet.
Yeah, but this
Right,
is
you need a
definitely
permit.
much smaller than that.
So, well, how big is the shed now?
It's 8 foot by 10 foot.
Okay, and you're adding the 12 by you're adding 144 square feet to it, right? With the 12 by 12.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
All right.
actually, then I misunderstood. Actually, I thought if the addition were under 200, you didn't have to get it approved.
No. Okay.
So I guess, Bruce, maybe that would be a little bit of homework for you, assuming we accept the application. Because if the work is already done, there's no sense in questioning how the piers were put in, but if it doesn't meet code and they have to be redone, then the additional disturbance we could look a little more closely at. So that's the one question I have. And then, so the dock is designed that it will stay in year round, correct?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Into my questions, and I will dissent from the rest of the commission a little bit in that I think it might be worthy of a site walk, but if the rest of the group is comfortable with that one, I'm good with that as well. End of my comments.
Okay. Mark Simpson.
I don't have any questions, and a site visit, I would say I would not probably be interested. And to the our traveling applicants, my son just came back from a trip over in Europe. He started in Barcelona, the pickpocket capital of the world, but he started there and ended there didn't have any problems there, but he did see in Italy quite often. You could see teams of people working in teams, one distracting you, and the other one with a jacket or a sweater would use to conceal them trying to steal things from your possession. So that's the common thing they try to do in Italy. I don't know if you have experience, I don't, but he said you could see it. It was very obvious. If you're
Well,
not being smart.
thank you, Mark.
That's good to know.
Yeah, but it's funny. He said no problems in Barcelona, and I always heard bad things about Barcelona. But he said Italy was where he saw it more often. So enjoy. I'm sorry
It's our first. It's our first time. We're excited, but we're a little jet lag. It's like 1 a.m. here, but
Yeah.
it's
Well,
it's a
if
lovely place.
if somebody comes up tries to be friendly and tries to distract you, there's a reason probably for it. You know,
Okay.
they're not being friendly. But all right, that's all I have.
Thank you.
Okay, Alana, questions on the sidewalk?
I don't have any further questions, and I don't think a site walk is necessary.
Okay. Yeah, I don't have any further questions. I'm kind of with Robert and thinking just because it's so close to the water, that it wouldn't be bad to have a site walk. Seeing also that we're probably gonna need one for 20 Mountain Spring Road, so I don't know. I'll make it official. Chair will entertain a motion to have a site walk.
If I can, I'll make a motion to accept the application and recommend a sidewalk.
Oh yeah, I guess we should have. All right, I'm sorry. We'll start over. All right. Chair will entertain a motion to accept the application.
So moved by
And
Robert.
a second.
Rich, I'll second with the sidewalk.
Okay. And so the motion's been made and seconded to accept the application. All those in favor say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstain? The motion to accept the application is passed. Now I'll
Mr. Chair, I'll make a
entertain,
motion to schedule a sidewalk.
okay. Motion was made, and is there a second to schedule a site walk?
Seconded.
Okay, motion was made and seconded to schedule a site walk. All those in favor, maybe we'll poll, we'll do it officially because I know there's a mixed here, so we'll go down the list. Andre, site walk,
Yeah, sidewalk would be fine if there's other members that want it.
okay. Rich,
Fine with me.
Dave,
Okay,
Robert,
Yes.
Mark,
Didn't see a reason for it, but I'll just put that as out. Yeah.
okay. Lana,
Yes.
okay. Motion passes to have a site walk, so we'll include it with any others we might possibly have for the night.
You want to vote
Okay.
on that? Oh, is that it? Okay.
Well, I took the votes.
Yeah, that's it. Okay, you're right.
Yeah, so that passed. Normally we just have the group say aye or nay, but since we had a difference of opinion, I thought I'd go through individually, so we have the vote. But the motion for a site walk Robert's motion for a site walk does pass. I guess Robert's very convincing. So to the applicants, we will see you in 2 weeks to
Nope.
vote on your application.
Nope. 4 weeks. We only have.
Oh, that's right. There's no meeting. All right, 4
Yep.
weeks. Okay.
And do we have to arrange a time? Do we need to be there for the sidewalk or?
You don't have to, but I definitely will be in touch with you and let you know. Okay?
Oh, okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Thank you. Next item on the agenda, 525 New Britain Avenue.
Whenever you're ready, Phil.
Am I on?
Yeah, you're on.
You're on.
Great. Phil Doyle, land planner from LADA. We made the application for um, Horton Electric that has bought 525 New Britain Avenue. And they're based in Canton. They're looking forward to moving into this building. I think the Hortons might be with us tonight in case there's a question for them. And we also have Ian Cole, the soil scientist, and Brian Panico from Cole Engineering, who is the civil. But there's a 2-acre site. Bruce, I think that's the best plan to have up, the
Okay.
survey. The site is, you probably have all gone through the plans. It's across the street from the town DPW facility on New Britain Avenue. And it's a site that has existed since the 70s. I put some of the history of the site into the application. It's a 15,000 square foot building that is sitting in the southern, let's call it, corner of the property. And at some point in, I think, 1981, there was a town approval to doubled the building. The building extended out into the area on this plan to the left of the existing building, and on the far left of the site, they would have put in a loading dock. For whatever reason, that was not built, but the land was cleared. And over time, there has been informal, as I understand it, some informal use of that open space. And we now want to take that and formalize creating a storage yard for small equipment. And because the site has never had drainage, any formal drainage system, the town staff has asked us to take a look at that situation and to install, in effect, retrofit the site for drainage improvements. And so that's all part of the plan. There is a wetland that is associated with Hyde Brook that drains towards the Farmington River. Back there where Bruce has the cursor, that's where there are wetlands on the property. And the property boundary to that side of the site, which is actually the easterly side of the site, is the center line of the brook. And none of the activity that we're proposing is in the brook or damaging or disturbing any of the wetland. All of the activity that we've got proposed on the site plans is in the upland review area. If we have a 2-acre site, there's a 50-something thousand, 56, 59,000 square feet of land within the upland review area. And we will be proposing to disturb about 36,000 square feet of that area. And if Bruce, can you go to the grading plan? Which might be the next, yes, that's the next drawing. This kind of gives a summary of where we are. The building would remain the same. There's no changes to the building. The roof drains to the back of the building, and there's a plateau at the top of the hillside. There's a bank that drops down to the wetland. We're proposing to put in a drainage line, connect all the roof drains that currently come down. They go into PVC pipes, and then they just drain across that relatively steep slope in the back of the site, and that goes down into the wetlands. We'd be picking that up, sending that water over into a new stormwater basin that we'd be building on the north property line. That left-hand property would be the north line. And then we'd be proposing to pave the storage area. It's about 14,000 square feet of paving. And we'd be putting in a oil grit separator to treat any runoff before it goes into the storm basin. We've also noticed that the front parking lot, even though it's there, it doesn't really drain well. It's all surface drainage, and the drainage gets clogged in along the curb lines, or right where Bruce has the cursor. There's a loading ramp that goes in. So we're proposing to regrade the front parking lot so it gently drains towards the front of the parking spaces, and then we'd be directing that water into a grass swale system along the frontage, and then into a stormwater a grass, let's call it water quality treatment basin, right where Bruce had the cursor a second ago. So we're looking to clean the property up. In the back of the site, we'd be proposing about a 17,000 square foot conservation easement to overlay the wetlands, and then virtually to the top of the bank of the slope. There are invasive species in the back of the site. We'd like to cut the vines out of the trees, the Oriental bittersweet, and then work immediately behind the proposed storage area, and attack the Japanese knotweed that's taking over that area. We've had a lot of conversations with the town staff about this, and there may be some movement in the future on the part of the town to put some drainage in on New Britain Avenue. And they have asked if we would consider a drainage easement through the property to allow the town to, if they choose to do this in the future, to install a drainage pipe and bring the drainage down towards the brook. Now, the brook winds and wiggles, but from the back property line of our site, that northeast corner of our property, it runs about 1,100 feet to the Farmington River, and in a direct line, the Farmington River is about 600 feet away, mostly through woods, though immediately behind us, what is it, DATCO? But the bus service parks their vehicles in that L-shaped area around the site, and you can see that there's a hatch right near Bruce. Move your right up a little bit, right in that area. We're showing an extended area of riprap that would lead from the detention area that we're proposing on the site, but we've extended that riprap a little bit further in case the town ever does put the drainage pipe in there. We thought it might be a good idea to install that riprap, or the majority of that riprap now, so we could avoid additional disturbance in the future. And that kind of gives you a brief overview. We're not proposing any wetland disturbance or any brook disturbance, but we will be working in the wetlands, and we've got an erosion control plan and a planting plan that I'm sure you've all looked at, that would work to stabilize anything that we'd be disturbing. Ian, if Bruce, is Ian there? If you'd like to say anything, or if we'd like to explain the drainage, Brian can explain the drainage. You might want to do a site walk, come out and take a look at the property. We'd all be there to show you the site, but it's relatively straightforward. And if people have ideas, suggestions, we'd certainly love to hear them, but we think it's pretty complete application at this point.
If, just to ask quickly, if we were to come out for a site walk, would you be able to stake out maybe the limits of this new driving area or parking area?
Oh, sure.
Okay.
Sure. No problem at all.
Thank you. Ian?
Yeah, good evening. For the record, my name is Ian Cole, professional soil scientist. Uh, Soil scientist of record for this application. Flagged the wetlands on this site last March of 2025 and followed up with a report to support this application in October, which is part of the application for the commission, which basically details the wetlands on site and the proposal. We completed an evaluation of the site. Phil did a great job covering pretty much everything with the site. I guess from a high level, as Phil said, High Brook follows along the eastern side of the project site. In my report, there's some pictures. Basically, High Brook's a 5 to 10 foot wide flat perennial water course. It's kind of sandy and gravelly in nature, as you would expect along this kind of industrial zone of New Britain Ave in the center of Unionville. The peripheral of the industrial park, the wetlands here are heavily invaded with invasive species like knotweed and Phragmites, as Phil had suggested, and bittersweet is kind of climbing up the edge of the forest there on the backside of the building. And so the proposal will try and remove some of those vines, as you'll see when you go on the sidewalk. Essentially, the position of the brook behind the building effectively puts the entire site within the 150-foot upland review area, with the exception of when you look on the plans, the water quality swale that they're proposing in the front falls outside of that. But essentially, the entire storage yard and like 90% of the water quality basin fall within that 150-foot upland review area. Important note, site's not in an aquifer protection area. It's not an overly sensitive location, as Phil had described. It's south of the MJ Bus Company parking and right across the street from the highway department. So it's kind of a heavily used area from that standpoint. I think Phil touched on the site predates any stormwater regulation, so there's no stormwater management system on site now. This proposal will introduce one. So as he said, effectively retrofits the site, so it's going to do those important things like capture the roof runoff and the existing impervious surface in the front now. It's going to tie that into the system. So those are some nice benefits. And then I guess lastly, just to kind of state again for the record that there is no direct wetland impact with this application. And as Phil had kind of touched upon, the project's going to provide a conservation easement to protect the wetlands in perpetuity. And also the final restoration plan includes some plantings to kind of soften that ecotone from the development site down to the wetland boundaries. So specifically kind of in the back side, if you pay attention to some of the details on the planting plan, they're proposing, I think, 15 native shrubs in the area. And then generally speaking, kind of along the northern boundary line and along the roadside, there'll be a total of 30 new trees proposed. In addition, there's a New England conservation easement, not easement, a New England conservation seed mix planted along the backside there. And the basins will be planted with a New England wet mix. And these will create kind of a self-sustaining tall wet meadow habitat in the ponds and the detention basins. And then on the back side there, where it's kind of scrubby, will be tall grass essentially. And I guess with that being said, I'll defer over to Brian, the engineer, if he's got anything to add with regards to some of the design features.
So far, I think for the record, Brian Panico, Cole Civil Survey, project engineer. I think that both Phil and Ian both covered almost everything having to do with the stormwater systems. The only thing I would note, effectively, what we tried to do with these multiple kind of basins, as they described, the basin in the front on the frontage of the property is really simply there just for water quality. Both the new storage area and that whole front parking area have been graded. We have pre-treatment strips off of the parking lot to direct water to that location first. effectively almost creating like a forebay for all the stormwater that would then overflow in the event it ever did overflow into the larger basin. Both of these basins are sized, they will hold the extent of the 100-year storm with still retaining freeboard. The depression in the front has about half a foot of freeboard before the weir. The other basin carries more or less a foot. So overall, even at the largest storms, these basins will retain all of this water on site, let the water infiltrate any material coming off of the parking lots that we want, to be treated with either photolysis or photocatalysis, which is the process of the sun, using the sun to break down those chemicals in the water before they infiltrate. That's the intent of this. This was very much focused and centered on all the recommendations of the 2024 water quality, Connecticut Water Quality Handbook. So with that being said, we've gone through a lot to focus this on infiltration. Overall, these two infiltration basins provide about 133% of the water quality volume for the site. And that would be for the site if you needed to take a look at this as a new development. Water Quality Manual categorizes sites in one of two ways, either new development or an existing development and a retrofit. This site obviously had a building on it, had a lot of disturbance, so it would have qualified for a retrofit, given that entire parcel was already disturbed. If that whole area was natural still, there might have been a better argument for it not being a retrofit. But given the sensitivity of the wetlands and the brook and the fact that it drains to the Farmington River, we thought it best to look at this and provide 100% of the normally required water quality volume as opposed to the 50% that their recommendation would have been for a retrofit. So again, sites providing 133% or so of the required water quality volume. We have the pre-treatment. So as far as from a snow storage perspective, you could clear that outdoor storage area into that upper basin along the frontage, let the snow melt, let any of the material, chemicals, organic compounds from within in the parking lots and in that area kind of melt and be treated in that upper basin before letting it go into that lower basin. And again, there's no outlets on these, so all of this water has to infiltrate. So it has to sit, it has to infiltrate. And we do provide enough freeboard within those basins that even in the event you have like two, 100-year storm events back to back, you would still have storage volume within those basins. We did take all of the roof water instead of just dumping it directly into the wetlands. It does flow through. Our system is split so that we have one set of double catch basins in the middle of that parking lot, which collects the runoff from the parking area, puts it through an oil grit separator before releasing it to the detention basin, and then an offline system for the roof runoff, which is, with a fairly large building like that, that's about half of the runoff from the site flowing into that basin. So overall, I think that the work that we've done with town staff and everything to produce this plan not only meets all the requirements of the water quality manual, but the town of Farmington requirements as well.
So that's pretty much the sum and substance of it. And we're certainly open to questions. And I think at one point recently, Bruce had asked Warren Horton and myself to define what equipment will be stored in the yard, and Warren's going to come up with a list for that. But I think that's pretty much all we have to say. And if you'd like to ask questions, we're all here, obviously.
Okay, I'll start. I'm looking, so this is going to be a completely paved parking area, right?
Correct.
Okay, and like I'm not seeing any catch basins on this. Is this going to drain directly off? I know I see you have some.
Yeah, I'm glad Bruce blew this up. It's 14,000 square feet, so it's modest in size. You know, when we're thinking about perspective, um, usually on a site plan, if you're efficient, you can park 100 cars per acre. So this is about, you know, a third, a quarter of an acre. So it's a 20, 30 car size parking lot. And what we're trying to do is drain all of that water, except maybe the very edge where we're going into the water quality basin, drain everything into a central double catch basin so that we don't run anything off an edge that goes towards the wetlands. The wetlands side, the eastern side of the property becomes a high point, drain everything away from that, collect all that, send it into a water quality structure, which is that rectangle with the two circles in it,
Okay,
and then let it go into another manhole. And I'm assuming, Brian, that that manhole would has a sump on it as well, and then it discharges into the stormwater basin where it would sit, be treated, and infiltrate into the soils.
okay,
Correct. And so all of the runoff in that, or just about all the runoff in that parking lot goes to that double catch basin in the center.
all
The
right.
other structures are just manholes. And essentially the double catch basin's connected to that manhole to the north, as Bruce pointing out, just as basically a high level overflow bypass. So that if you had a huge event, the water can't, and it can't, you know, the oil water separator can't handle all of that large amount of flow. It then has another route to go to get to the detention basin, and it will be treated within the detention basin.
Right.
Okay. Um, and currently all the runoff from the roof goes into those roof leaders at the back of the building. There's no runoff in the front.
Yeah, you see those light gray lines that run perpendicular to the building? That's the roof leaders. And there are 7 or 8 roof leaders that just shoot straight off. They go down the slope. And that's the way they've been, gosh, since the 70s, just running down the slope. And and there's probably been some slope erosion caused by that. So we're going to take those roof leaders, tie them into that pipe, and take the water away from the slope.
Okay,
That's
and you said this in the history of the building, it was almost doubled in size. Was it like I'm trying to get a feel that that steep grade there, is that natural or is that a result of putting a bunch of fill in from the back, you know, to enlarge the building? And what direction
yes.
was the building enlarged, do you know?
The building started as I think we showed some of this in the application. Um, Bruce, the town has wonderful records. Your town hall over the years we found has tremendous records. And in the application, we were able to prevail upon Bruce to go back through the town records, and he found us a whole series of the
Oh,
approvals.
yeah,
And
okay.
the building started, yes, as a little square up by the street. And then it was expanded to the back. And in answer to your question, you see all the contours? They're pushing out towards the
Yeah.
brook. So now I went back to the 1934 air photo, and this site, the state historic air photo, looks like it was a farm. It was a farm field. But I'm assuming it was lower in topography at that point. And when they started to build the building, it looks like they brought in fill and pushed fill out. So they did the first
Yeah.
piece in the early 70s. In maybe 76, they did a box where Bruce has the cursor now, immediately behind the first building. And then also, I think in 76, they came back and did the northern, let's call it 2/3 of the existing building, where it says on this plan in red, existing building. They added that on in the 70s. And then they came in with an application that was approved but never built and you see there's a note on the plan that says area cleared following 1981 expansion approval. That area was approved for the building expansion, and they must have done some of the site work because the site is graded out, and but they stopped. And when they stopped, the land sat fallow, and over time, we've seen aerial photo evidence that people have informally used it for storage yards. And and here we are today, when the Hortons bought the property, they thought an approval existed for a storage yard there. They started clearing the secondary growth that was in the area. And I think Bruce just happened to be across the street at one point for the working in the town facility. And he said, wait a minute, you guys shouldn't be doing that. You got to stop. We need to actually get this approved. And so here we are.
Okay. Yeah, I see in the one of the sketches there, you got a lot of stumps lined out, like 'cause somebody did go through and clear this. There's also on the existing sheet, there's a concrete pad in the center of this.
Yeah, when you take a look at this air photo that Bruce has up, it looks like at one point, and we've got a date on that air photo, I think, but there was a truck sitting in the middle of that yard. There was some type of structure that truck is backed up to. And then where the concrete pad is, you can see there's a circle, a white circle, and then a shadow behind it. There was a silo sitting on that pad. God knows what it was for, but there was active use happening back there. And from what I was told by one of the fellows from Horton today, when they went out there, they were finding that the whole area was underlain with gravel. So somebody did some work out there to start to improve the property. And I think that we and perhaps the town staff feel it is better, if you're going to have a storage area, that you have it on pavement where you can collect and treat the stormwater rather than have the stormwater on gravel and just have that water go straight down into the ground.
Yeah,
So
I
that's
understand.
that's
And
why
that
we're
concrete pad is being removed as part of the new driveway storage area.
Pardon me?
That concrete pad is being removed. That's
yes.
There. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. That's all I have. Let's ask the commission. Andre, you have questions, and do you think a site walk would be a good idea?
I think a sidewalk would be a good idea, and the only question I have currently is that double catch basin enough to catch also the redirected water that you're now putting into it from the roof?
So that double catch basin is effectively inside of it's effectively a pond, right? All of the edges of the pavement are higher. And then Bruce, I don't know if you want to go jump to the grading plan with the spot elevation so they can see exactly what we're talking about. But all the edges of the parking lot, or not the parking lot, all the edges of the area are elevated, and that catch basin is the lowest point. So the top of frame of that catch basin is 202.8. The rest of the parking lot is elevated. The lower points of it are 203.7. So you could potentially get some ponding within that area. If that double catch basin, if the storm was large enough and we had enough frequency of rainfall, 100-year storm event, maybe 50-year storm event, that parking lot, that catch basin wouldn't necessarily be able to handle the flow and immediately evacuate the water. But all that's going to happen is you're going to see a little bit of ponding within that parking lot area, and that ponding will expand as the water as the amount of flow increases, but it'll never get more than a foot deep because the grades around it just aren't around the edge of parking lot just aren't high enough. So to best answer the question, that double catch basin, the purpose is effectively to force the water and if you have an event that's that large, to actually reduce the amount of water going through that at any given time, because that'll better allow the oil water separator to actually treat the water and not just bypass too much all of the water too quickly directly to the detention basin.
I see. I have no other questions.
Thank you. Rich Berlandi,
I don't have any questions. Thank you.
and what do you think of the site walk?
I would agree sidewalks would be beneficial.
Dave Fox, questions on a site walk?
No questions at this time, but I think the site walk would be good.
Yes, okay. Robert Eisner?
I concur we should do a site walk, and I'd just make a comment. I appreciate the forethought on some of the water treatment technology you're going to use, and to mitigate some of the invasive plants on the site. Obviously, there'll be a lot of tech review details for our staff to go through, so we'll have more comments after that is done. And along those lines, the equipment list is important. Obviously, there's not a lot of separation between the site and the Farmington River resource, so knowing what will be stored on the site will be important for our consideration on the line. End of my comments.
Thank you. Mark Simpson, questions in a site walk?
No questions and yes to a sidewalk.
Okay, Alana?
No questions, and yes, I think a site walk is necessary.
Okay. I agree that a site walk would be a good idea. It is. I guess my comment to the applicant would be to think about what you really need in that area and to store in that area. I don't know if some electrical parts still have PCBs in them or not. No expert on that, but like if it's all possible to come back a little further from the inland wetland line there on the back end of this storage area, that would be something to consider and overlooking what your needs for the property are. But then we'll get a better feel after we have a site walk. But it is concerning that, this is very close to the inland wetland limits. I know that a large, the building and the existing construction has always been pretty close. And I think we're making improvements with the runoffs and the sediment basin, but it is concerning to be that close, a commercial storage area next to the inland wetland line. But so I will Chair will entertain a motion to accept the application.
So moved.
And a second, please.
Second, Mark.
All right, motion's made and second to accept the application. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstain? Motion passes. And for the record of the polling of the site walk, we're unanimous in that we think a site walk is necessary for this location. So to the applicant, we will, if you can have somebody there for the site walk, would be helpful. And Bruce will contact you on about when we're looking for on that.
That's,
And again, you had said it would be possible to lay out the corners of this storage area for us.
that's fine. We'll take care of that.
Okay,
Thank you.
thank you.
Appreciate your time today.
Thank you so much.
Okay. Oh my God, number 4,
Give me a little,
Farmington Motorsports.
yeah, just give me a few minutes. I gotta close everything and upload all these.
Yeah.
Where's the site plans? Oh, here we are. All set. Alan, if you want to get started.
Alan?
Thank you. Good evening, Mr. Chairman, members of the commission, staff. For the record, Alan Bongiovanni. I'm a licensed land surveyor in the state of Connecticut. My office is at 170 Payne Road, Newington. I have Tim Vibber with me, principal with Farmington Motorsports and Brickyard Realty. For this application, we've been before this commission at previous meetings, and we had a field trip on Saturday to walk the site. Joe Perugini, our engineer with Weston and Sampson, was available. Anthony Zimba, our soil scientist, which I believe is online, could not make the meeting, but we made sure that we had the wetlands flags identified. We refreshed some of the flagging. And then we also staked the western limits of the proposed paved parking lot. And we walked it with the commission. One of the things that stood out in my mind is we know it's all good sand and gravel. I left the site after Thursday's rain. There was 2 to 3 inches of rain. We walked this on Saturday morning. I didn't have any mud on my shoes, so that was a good thing. And I think it's a great indicator for the site that it's good material. As this, if approved, gets developed, it's conducive to infiltration of the rainwater and the surface runoff, and erosion and sediment should not really be an issue off the site, especially with the measures we proposed. Mr. Chairman, I'd like to ask, we did do a presentation of its entirety on the project. I don't know if you want me to rehash some of that stuff or if you have questions for us, whatever your pleasure.
Yeah, maybe just a very quick review for some of the members might be helpful.
Sure. So this is an existing facility that's here. It was permitted 2016, 2017 in that area, and this building was built. This is a parking facility for Farmington Motorsports for towing of vehicles, trucks, and equipment. One parking their own vehicles there, but 2 temporarily storing vehicles that have been either impounded by the police, in an accident, things like that, that are waiting for legal disposition before they're moved again. A lot of vehicles tend to spend 2 to 3 months on the lot, but there's a constant turnover of vehicles. As time has gone on, his business has prospered. I think partially because there's less people doing this work, and maybe more because there's more vehicles being towed because they're being impounded. But here and there, he needs to expand his operation. We're looking to increase the area of the parking area. Right now, it is reclaimed pavement. I think the commissioners that were present and staff, when you looked around the site, it is, as Mr. Vibert had stated, it is a parking area, temporary parking area for vehicles and trailers and that. That are clean, that have been drained. If there were a crash vehicle, if there's no leaking of oils and motor vehicle fluids on the properties, and that was pretty evident when you looked at the ground that there was no staining on the. It's a reclaimed process space that's there now. In working with the staff, because this is an aquifer protection zone, they requested that we pay more attention to protecting the aquifer, creating a more impervious surface so that if there was dripping of oil spill, things like that, that it could be captured instead of infiltrating into the parking area, but captured into a storm drainage system, treated for water quality, and then also attenuate any increase in runoff, which we've got a storm drainage system and infiltration basin designed for that. We have an application pending with planning and zoning. As I said, this is a permitted use. This is a permitted facility for the site, but the expansion has not been permitted. As part of that application that we're presenting to planning and zoning, which will be in January, there's going to be replanting of the buffer along the western property line. That's detailed on the set of the plans as well. Having said that, I'm going to let Joe Perugini, our civil engineer, talk a little bit about the drains. I think that's probably one of the most important aspects of our application, and the care and effort that he planned and designed into the system so that we can, again, take care of the increase in runoff and also treat the water quality. So, Joe?
Thank you, Alan.
Joe, can I interrupt you? Because I just, so one question I had was, why are you using two separate pipes off the drainage basins instead of just one? And then you can go on with, if you could answer that, please, in your presentation.
Sure, that's a good question. The site is very flat. When we look at how we're going to handle our stormwater management, we knew this was an aquifer protection. We knew we had certain regulations to meet. So early on, we did some soil testing in the area to the left or the west. So you see where the basin is. We had done a couple of test pits in that area to understand the soils. When we try to design these measures, we need to know how the soil will infiltrate, what the soil subgrade is like. Are there any restrictive layers, especially seasonal high groundwater? And when we did the testing, we were able to determine where that seasonal high approximately is. And because when we designed this, we were trying to try to maximize how this will infiltrate, and we have to work off of what the soils allow. And there was shallow groundwater or evidence of it up to a certain elevation. So we have to design that basin bottom above that seasonal high groundwater. And so when we work our way from the soils up to the site, again, it's very shallow, very flat, and we have an existing building. So we can't raise the site any more than what our restrictions are, what the constraints are with the subsoils. And so getting back to your question, we're trying to drain the site to a low point in the middle, but we are restricted by how we outlet and that basin bottom to the left. So what happens is we have a very flat pipes. We'd like to have one single pipe if possible, but in order to get the capacity to drain the catch basins, we had to stack several side by side. So there's actually 4 ductile iron pipes, and normally we wouldn't use ductile iron, but we have very little cover over the pipe. So if you use another type of pipe, you don't have sufficient cover. You have issues with driving over the pipes that are too shallow. So we're doing our best with the site constraints to make sure we can drain the site, but also try to get as much infiltration as we can in that basin. So as Alan mentioned, we're in an aquifer protection area. With the paved area, we are, it's obviously impervious. That way we can control and treat the runoff as they enter the basins. There are 2 double catch basins with deep sumps that will capture the coarse sediment but then the finer sediment will then get treated into the next structure, which we're referring to as a water quality structure. In that, we're using a couple of measures. There's a baffle within there that is a state-approved product. So the state, certain products have to go through state review and testing before even they approve it to ensure that it meets the state's requirements for a suitable structure. And what that means, it can remove 80% or more of total suspended solids, which is the really fine sediment. So it does a very good job at capturing the fine sediment. And we have the added concern of isolating any oils or floatables before it gets into or is discharged from the system into the basin. So on the outlet pipe, we have a engineered hood, which is referred to as a snout. It has an anti-siphon top, which prevents when water is drawn down, it prevents it from pulling the oils and the floatables down and out the pipe. But also, as an added measure, it's fitted with something called a bioskirt. It's an oil absorption type material that sits around the rim of the hood. So as those oils, floatables are sitting in the sump, the hood extends well below the outlet pipe. That material will absorb any oils or spills. And we're with the combination of the baffle, the hood, and the bioskirts, we thought this was a reasonable approach to treat that runoff. When the runoff discharges into the basin, it's gonna then spread out, it's gonna infiltrate into the soils, it's gonna have a pervious bottom of a sandy loam. All the design storms up to and including a 10-year storm will be fully infiltrated within that basin. Anything above that, the 25 and higher storms, will then overflow over in the area where the cursor is being highlighted. And that's, again, for the larger storms, can spill over into the wetlands. And those wetlands are receiving runoff from the east and from the property to the south. So what I usually like to explain is that this is going to create a significant relief to that wetlands that we know has a history of flooding. It currently backs up into the parking lot to the south. It has nowhere to go. And there was a catch basin at the lower end of the wetlands that was disconnected. We're proposing that a swale be graded through there. So it creates an overflow from the wetlands. So with the combination of the swale to provide some relief from that wetlands flooding into the neighbor's property, we're also cutting off the design storms up to including the 10-year storm. So that was a concern as well because of the neighbor having flooding in their parking lot. We're trying to treat the water, infiltrate the water, reduce the peak runoff. And so it will be noticeably reduced over what currently flows into the wetlands now, and also reducing the flooding.
Thank you, Joe. It's a couple things, Mr. Chairman. I know we received from the engineering staff a bunch of comments. We've been reviewing them. We didn't have a chance to complete our review and resubmit for Bruce to review, but we've had conversation with Bruce. They're technical in nature. I think all of his concerns can be addressed. Many of them are housekeeping items. Some of the questions and concerns he had may require us to, for an example, enlarge the pre-treatment basin that's to the south central part of the site. That may be required to be a little bit bigger outside of the wetland area to accommodate additional flow. And the structure, the water quality structure that's going to be in the pavement prior to the outlet. We've talked with Bruce, and there may be a necessity to substitute another approved DOT chamber in that area, just to address some of Bruce's concerns. And like I said, I don't know that there's anything there that's we can't agree on and revise the plans to accommodate, but we just haven't had the chance to do that.
Okay, I had one other question, on the site plan modification sheet. So we have to the south, this wetlands here that we have to kind of work around. And you have, proposed bituminous curb, but I mean, I was there on the sidewalk. We saw you have, you know, they have some very large trucks that, I mean, large tow trucks that tow, you know, tractor trailers, and um, I'm I'm concerned if, you know, a bituminous curb, that's the only thing that's protecting that wetland area, isn't going to make it. I think that that's going to have to be a concrete curb, if anything, because I don't think bituminous curb, especially have, you know, the area in the center there that juts out several feet, and I just think that that would have to be a concrete curb in order to try and get as much protection as we can from the wetland area. That was my only comment. Would that be suitable to?
Yeah, I think we can work that out. I know one of the questions from the planner was, you know, protection of vehicles going and equipment going beyond the edges of the pavement. In a situation like this, where on the western edge of the proposed paved lot, we've got snow storage. You know, I'd propose a row of, and they're probably going to come from the site when they're doing the excavation, boulders and things like that to, you know, basically create a fence or a barrier so you don't go beyond that area. But where you're talking about that south central wetland area, yeah, I think we can accommodate that with some more durable curbing.
Okay. Bruce, question to you. I mean, where are you with the review and the stuff? Are you, if we were to vote on this tonight, do you need more time to make sure your comments are addressed? Do you think we can do it with a, you know, a stipulation that they work with the town and are in regards to making sure that the town's requirements are met? Or would you like more time to review that?
No, I did issue the comments, so so we did discuss those. I don't have any concerns if the commission wants to make this as part of a condition of approval. Unless the commission feels they want to see some of these conditions before they approve it, I'll leave that to the commission to decide. But I
Okay.
don't have a problem as is working out these conditions approvals, getting these plans revised prior to hearing on the 26th, I think it was, right, Alan, in January. So they've got quite a while.
Yep.
Okay. So let's hear from the board. Andre, do you have any additional questions?
I definitely share the concern of making sure that there's efficient curbing for a lot of the trucks and runoff that kind of are going to sit there. I have used Farmington Motorsports myself, and I've seen them have quite some serious cars and equipment in the back. So I definitely am concerned about that, and I would be curious to see what the stipulations are, but I would be fine if the town just worked with them.
Okay. Rich Berlandy.
No questions.
Okay. Dave Fox,
No questions.
Robert Eisner.
No questions, but a comment. And I think if we move forward with an approval, we should include a condition that prohibits the storage of vehicles with active or substantial leaks. And I know, Alan, a couple of times you said that they don't store vehicles that are leaking, but during our site walk, clearly there were um, quite a few vehicles with front end damage. And I just think the nature of the business, there's going to be leaks. So I think our approval should reflect no storage of leaking vehicles to help ensure that we minimize the amount of vehicle fluids that are released to the site. End of my comment.
Thank you. Mark Simpson,
No questions. Thank you.
Lana?
No questions, and I also agree with Commissioner Eisner. I don't think that vehicles that have active leaks should be stored.
Yeah, I think that is a worthy comment.
If I may, Mr. Chairman, that actually was a condition of approval from planning and zoning when this was originally approved, and we don't have a problem if it's contained in an action by this commission.
And we know it's not a perfect thing, but you could generally see vehicles with very heavy damage are going to be more of a risk and should be not be included in things stored in this area. Well, with Bruce's comment that he thinks he can work with this in getting the town's concerns addressed, I think we could. I don't have a problem acting on this tonight, but I think we do need to make a very careful, uh, approval language. So I'm going to call on Robert Eisner to make a motion to address his concerns and also the Kearns to make sure that the town's requirements are met.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I was thinking I should propose a motion. So with that said, I will propose to approve the Farmington Motorsports application with the conditions that all staff review comments be addressed to staff's satisfaction prior to the commencement of site construction activities. That no storage of vehicles with active or substantial leaks be stored at the property. And we recognize it's a prior condition, but that's just to reemphasize the need to have tidy vehicles at the property. And the third condition is that the asphalt curbing be upgraded to concrete curbing or other similar sturdy material in the areas bordering the wetland boundaries. End of the recommended motion.
Excuse me, Chair.
Yes,
you don't
sir.
mind interjecting, I did have a couple of items to consider. So if the commission would like to include these as part of that as well, that's up to you guys. Just the erosion control includes silt fence and straw wattles, and discussion about restoration of wetland B, which is the area over here. With more, as you saw, it was all cleared, so maybe he's putting some additional wetland plantings in there to kind of help that out and prevent any kind of future invasive growth.
So Chairman, I'm going to continue with my motion to include two more points. One, that erosion and sediment control be enhanced at the recommendation of town staff, and that wetland be the subject of additional restoration, the direction of town staff.
Okay. I'm gonna, not to add one thing, but I have a question I forgot to ask Bruce. Bruce, when we were out there, because this might not have to do with the applicant, but in the runoff that was recently cleaned by the town and that at the time it was dry, we saw a lot of silt in there. But that's got to be coming out of that pipe somewhere. That's not really part of, I mean, the applicant isn't responsible for what's coming out of that pipe, right?
No,
No,
it's not.
okay.
No, it's not.
So the town can continue to look into that, see if.
Yes, we are. We actually stayed a little later after you guys had left to doing a little more investigation. So
Okay, all right.
Right.
So then that doesn't have to, we don't have to worry about that for this this motion?
Mhm. Yeah.
Okay. All
And I
right.
did, and I did forget to just remind you that we do have to discuss significance or not.
Oh,
So
yes.
that's right here. My little,
Okay.
so
Um, okay.
Mr. Chairman, I'm going to withdraw my prior motion and make a motion that this application represents a regulated but non-significant activity impact.
Yes, I would
I'll second
agree.
that.
Bruce, did you have something?
nope.
Okay.
The man.
All right. Thank you. So Bruce has made a motion for non-significance. Do we have a second, please?
Second that.
Okay, motion been made, seconded. That is an accepted use. All those in favor say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Aye. And for the record, the motion was made by Robert.
Yep. And aye, all those opposed, abstain. The motion passes. And now we'll go back to Robert's original motion, which I think we already have that written on the record, right?
Okay, so I'm going to remove going to reiterate or repropose the motion to approve the application with the 5 conditions previously noted.
Okay. And do we have a second?
Seconded.
All right. Motion is made second to approve the applications with said stipulations. All those in favor say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstain? Motion passes.
Thank you very much for your time.
All right. Good luck. Okay. Big Y has been very patient. The next item on the agenda, number 5, Big Y Foods, 500 South Road, West Farms Mall. The applicant present?
Yes, Mr. Chairman.
All right. Can we get your name and your position?
Absolutely, yeah. For the record, my name is Guy Hesketh. I'm a licensed professional engineer with F.A. Hesketh and Associates. And our office assisted and put together the plans and the studies that were submitted as part of this application. Also, on the screen, you'll see from Big Y, Matt Demore, Chris Elliott, and I think I saw Phil Miller's name down there. Those are representatives of the Big Y. They work for the Big Y Foods Incorporated. And Robin Pearson is counsel to the applicant. Also, Dave Ziyax with our office, F.A. Hesketh and Associates, is available. He has a lot of expertise with West Farms Mall over the last 30 or 40 years or so. So I'd like to go over what our proposal is. And Bruce, can you show the
Yeah, can
overall?
you hold on with me? It's computer doesn't like going, it must not like working after 8:30.
Oh,
It
all right.
just froze on me. So let me a second.
Yes, sir. So while he's looking for that, what we're proposing is a new Big Y family market, approximately 50,200 square feet with a 2,300 plus or minus square foot mezzanine. And we're going to have that located. We're proposing to locate that in the southeast corner of the West Farms Mall property. And I've got yeah, this is the overall plan. This shows the overall majority of the West Farms Mall parcel. On the bottom of the plan is New Britain Avenue. South Road is on the right side of the plan. And it encompasses land in both the town of West Hartford and Farmington. The town line runs sort of diagonally across the property. On the southwest corner, just north of the south entrance drive, adjacent to New Britain Avenue, there's about a 6.2 acre area that we're proposing to redevelop that's shown as Bruce is showing there in the dark dashed line there. And most of that is in the town of Farmington. The town line, you can see clips sort of the northeast corner of that. Yeah, there you go. There's the town line. So everything on the upper side of that line is in the town of Farmington, and a little bit of that is actually in the town of West Hartford. So the building itself and the majority of the parking and the loading areas and all are located in Farmington. I've highlighted on here the wetland resource that is part of this. The reason why we're before this commission this evening, you can see in the bluish purple shade over there, that is the existing stormwater detention basin that serves a good portion of the mall property. Runoff from most of the paved areas and the buildings and stuff are collected in stormwater drains, and they discharge into that detention basin that's down there. And then there's a pipe that exits there that runs just to the west of the Big Y building. And I'll show you that on some other plans. Kind of snakes up around and heads up towards the northeast portion of that parcel and actually discharges to Rockledge Brook. So that pipe conveys runoff from the detention basin. So all of the runoff in our project area is proposed to drain into that existing detention basin. Now I show that wetland resource area, and then you can see there's a dashed purple line 150 feet away from that, which is the upland review area. So the upland review area does clip the southwest portion of what we're proposing in our redevelopment area. Now in this plan, north is to the right, and the subsequent plans that are part of the set, north will be facing up the page. So I'll show you that. So we don't have any direct wetlands disturbance. We only have disturbance in the 150-foot upland area, and that is about 9,800 square feet. There's no direct discharge to the detention basin. All of our discharges that are for stormwater are proposed to drain into the existing storm drain system that's out there on the site, which will then flow into the detention basin. So this evening, what we're requesting is a determination. We believe that what the work proposed is not a significant activity, and we're looking to be placed on the agenda for the December 3rd meeting for an administrative review and possible action that night. So having said that, let me have Bruce go to LA1, which is the next plan in the set. Let's see. Yeah, there's another one, LA1, Bruce, you have that one?
So
there we go.
Third sheet. Yeah, gotcha.
So this is a close-up of the layout, and what this shows is the existing detention basin and then the 150-foot upland review area line that's located there. And you'll notice that line is located and encompasses the West Farms Mall, what we call the South Drive, which you can see where it says West Farms Mall Road, private. And then as you come down from New Britain Avenue, you turn right, and there's another access drive that's just to the west of the redevelopment area that we're proposing. So currently, this area is where they have a portion of the grass turf parking area, the grass paver parking area. And then a portion of it on the north side of what we're proposing does extend into the existing paved parking area that you have there. And the elements of this proposal include the grocery store building, which you see here. The main entrance is going to be on the front, of course, facing north, and the loading areas are in the back. And on this plan, I depict graphically the 3 loading docks that we have there. There's a compactor, a sealed compactor. There's a covered dumpster, a refuge dumpster located to the left, and a rendering container where they use for the grease recycling. And then you have the transformer, switch gear, generator that's proposed on the right side of the rear of the building. And the shaded area that you see here is an area of heavy duty pavement, and that's going to be where the trucks will actually access the store itself. They'll come down the south access drive, loop around the entire front of the store, and come down to the east there where you see the drive that that pathway that Bruce has shown. And then as they approach to the western side of that, we have a cul-de-sac or a turnaround in there that will allow the trucks to be able to make a complete circle so they can drive in back into the docks. And when they leave the docks, they always stay to the south of the store and then also along the eastern drive. So we don't want to mix the truck traffic with the customer base and the passenger car traffic. And the reason I'm explaining this in detail here is because a portion of that cul-de-sac, if you look down on the lower left-hand corner of the page, that's within the upland review area. So those activities that are in that area are proposed. So not a whole lot of activity, but we are proposing in that area. There's a small retaining wall that we have to make up for a grade difference. It's about 3.5 feet tall. It's right on the end of that area. And then the pavement, and that's all going to be graded so that it pitches towards the north and then gets picked up in some storm drainage structures that are located, along the back of the loading area itself. We do have another retaining wall to the right, which is along New Britain Avenue. Because of the grade difference that's there, New Britain Avenue is quite a bit higher in elevation than our proposed first floor elevation. That wall starts out at about 3 feet to the north, and then the tallest part of that wall is about 11 feet right in that corner where it starts, the tangent starts to turn down to the south. So that will require that we do some grading along New Britain Avenue and along the entrance drive to the south. Bruce, can you go to the landscape plan next? So we do have some activities and that
You only
take
gave me
place.
those, you only gave me those 3 sheets. You want me to open up the other set?
That's okay. Maybe I can just explain them. We do have some landscape proposals that you see in the package along the upland review area that includes some extensive vegetative screening to screen the view from. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, you'll see. Yep, one more sheet right there. Yeah, so you'll see that there's a healthy amount of screening vegetation that's going to be put in the upland review area. There are a number of street trees along the entrance drive. We're not going to touch those. Those are London plane trees. They look similar to sycamore trees. They're right on the edge of the roadway, both along the south entrance drive and the access drive that's to the west of our proposal. We're going to keep those in, keep a strip about 8 to 10 feet wide, undisturbed, and then we're going to supplement as we do our grading to dive down to the elevation of the store. We're going to supplement that entire area with a lot of heavy screening with a combination of deciduous and evergreen plantings. So a portion of those plantings actually do take place, again, within the upland review area. Bruce, can you go to the grading plan? Maybe the first set that had the shaded blue area on it.
Go back to that one.
Yeah, one more.
Oh, there you go.
There you go, right there. So this is our grading and drainage plan. And you can see the contours in the upland review area. We're going to grade down, again, create a shelf about 10 to 12 feet wide along the south entrance drive, and then we're going to grade it down at a 3-to-1 slope. And again, that area will be heavily vegetated. Storm drainage structures that we have behind the store include catch basins that start along the eastern edge of the store. They wrap around, pick up a double catch basin right behind the loading area right there. A trench drain for the truck loading area that's on the western side. The eastern side will just grade directly through that area. There's no curbing or anything on the east side, but on the west side there'll be a little bit of a grade difference there. So we have a trench drain that picks that up, and then that storm drainage travels in a western direction and then up north, and then we're proposing to have an underground stormwater storage structure that's located there. And that storage structure will be made out of the high density polyethylene parabolic chambers. You'll see a couple more catch basins to the left that pick up runoff from the parking area. Those are tied into that system. And then you can see one large storm drain along the front of the store that runs east-west. That's proposed to pick up the roof runoff from the building and the canopies in the front, and that's going to be tied directly into the existing storm drain system that's located along the entrance drive to our west. And then there's a couple other storm drain systems in the main parking field to the north. We're calling the main big Y parking field. You'll see another underground stormwater storage structure that's in the kind of the western edge. And then there's a couple catch basins up on the north and the east side that'll pick up runoff, tie that into the underground system, and then along the western edge we have a few more catch basins that pick up runoff. So the parking lot is crowned. It grades down from the front of the store down towards the northeast and also towards the northwest, and then we pick up that runoff and then we put it into these underground systems. So these systems serve two purposes. One is that they actually provide treatment of stormwater runoff to remove total suspended solids and other pollutants. We have what they call an isolator row for the first row, which is a section of chambers that's treated with a crushed stone base, and it has a filter fabric that's wrapped around it. And that provides for treatment of the water quality flow for the contributory watershed area. And in addition to that, it also provides some storage. And if you see to the left of that larger chamber system, you'll see a box that looks like a size of about a septic tank. And that is a outlet structure that allows us to put a baffle in it with an orifice or a hole that allows the water to slowly flow through during heavy rain events. It's got an overflow weir in it. What it does is it throttles back the water so that we can take advantage of the volume of the chambers and the porous stone between the structure. And that provides for the necessary storage volume. Since we're in a complete paved area here, we do that, and we've sized this system so that we modeled under the existing condition with a portion of it being totally paved and a portion of it having the grass pavers, that we modeled the stormwater so that there's no increase in peak rate of runoff for the storm events all the way from the 2 to 100-year storm event. And again, we've made those calculations available as part of the application. And then if you can go to the next sheet, the erosion control plan. During construction, again, we've got about a 6.2 acre area that we're going to be disturbing. So we've provided some erosion control devices. It's down just past the grading plan if you go further
Yeah, I
down the
gotta find it.
steps. Yeah. Wait, one more.
Yeah.
There you go. So this represents our soil erosion sediment control plan. What we propose to do is to ring the western perimeter along the curb line where the grass is with silt fence erosion control. And then up on the eastern and the northern side, we're going to use a weighted sediment log because we're basically going to have that on the paved surface, do some saw cutting to the existing pavement that's up there. And then we'll start doing our earthwork within the envelope of the redevelopment area. In addition, we have some inlet protection, silt sacks on all of our inlets that we're proposing, existing and proposed, so that we can capture any sediments that would flow towards those areas. And you see the shaded area along the graded portion on the southeast corner. That's proposed to have erosion control blanket. And then at the bottom of the slope, you can see the silt fence erosion control that's also involved in that. So this plan follows the Connecticut guidelines for soil erosion control, the new 2024 guidelines. So we've provided that to show that we're meeting those standards. And then the last thing that shows where there's some work in the utility plan, I think, which is the next sheet, Bruce. Yeah, so the utilities are readily available on New Britain Avenue as far as water and gas and telephone and electric communication. So we've started a dialogue with the MDC. We're going to be using MDC water for both fire protection and for domestic water. So we will be making a crossing across New Britain Avenue and then onto our site. And the water lines are not in the upland review area, but again, they're very close to it. We are proposing a fire hydrant on our site. There's other fire hydrants that are out on New Britain Avenue. And then we'll be picking up electric we believe it's going to be coming from just a little bit further south of the entrance drive. There's some infrastructure there. We've initiated dialogue with Eversource, but they always require that we have specific requirements and make a work request order before they give us a final routing. But that's what we anticipate the routing of the electric would be. And the only other issue for utilities that we have to resolve is a sanitary sewer. If you see on the eastern side, on the northeastern side of the building, we propose to come out of there and install a grease trap and then have some manhole structures in there. And we can gravity feed through the parcel over the existing stormwater structure. And there's an existing manhole just a little bit further up on the site. There's an inset on the plan to the left. You can see it. So we have to trench through the parking lot, existing paved parking lot, tie into an existing sanitary manhole there. And then the sewage will go into the pump system that they have at the mall now, which is adequately sized to handle the flow. And we've already started dialogue with your Water Pollution Control Authority. There's adequate capacity and they'll accept the sanitary sewage from our site. So that work is quite a bit away from your upland review area and the resource areas, but I just wanted to show you to give you kind of a complete picture of that. So we did take a look at the comments that were as part of this application package. And the town engineer, Bruce and I, he requested that we install some additional best management practices that would include adding some hydrodynamic separators, trap hoods, making sure all of our catch basins were deep sumps, integrating bioskirts. The previous applicant had discussed that. Trap hoods and a bioskirt. It looks kind of like a jellyfish that you strap onto the bottom of the trap hoods, and that attracts petroleum products and things like that, keeps them out of the stormwater. So, he and I, Bruce and I have had a discussion. Our intent is to address those comments, revise these plans so that you have them prior to and plenty of time to review before the December 3rd meeting. And we'll have those details and revisions made on the plans. The only other comment in Bruce's report were he had, in the review of this, he took a look and said that we are within the NDDB area. The map shows that it looks like the ground zero for that is actually along the northeast corner of the intersection of Route 71 and Highway 9. The way that the DEP puts together these NDDB maps is they put a little circle around an area where they find potential species. So we submitted to the DEP a request to review for the NDDB, and it came back and they gave us what they called their approved letter, which indicates that really no additional studies are needed, but that there were spotted turtles that were in the area, and it's the area, I think ground zero of that area is further to the south and east of where Bruce is showing that. So the letter, the recommendations for protection of the spotted turtle, the big concern is during the mating season, the turtles look for sandy soils to lay their eggs. And the literature indicates that the greatest risk for them are turtles that cross roadways traveling from one wetland community to another. We don't really have that in our situation. There's a bigger contiguous wetland community located south of our site on both sides of South Road. But what we propose to do in order to address these concerns, potential concerns, is they give you a list of things that they recommend you do. And one of them is to install a barrier fence to keep turtles from entering into your area. Another thing is to conduct daily sweeps to make sure prior to construction and during construction, make sure turtles don't inhabit that area. They're typically more applicable to sites that are not characterized by parking areas, more that are in a natural state. We do have an area that's been developed since the 1970s and, more recently in the 90s when they built the turf parking area. So we propose to put a turtle barrier along the curb line south of the south entrance drive and then follow the other instructions that are in in the what we refer to as the turtle letter. So we'll be modifying our plan set to include those specific instructions, and we'll have some training for the employees and the contractors that are working there when we develop our stormwater pollution prevention plan required by the DEP for the general permit. We include a section in there for that. It has some graphics and some instructions on that, and we'll make sure that during construction that those issues are followed. So having said that, we're hoping that this evening you'll make a determination that this is not a significant activity, and if you would like to schedule a field walk or take a look at this, let us know, and we look forward to making a more comprehensive presentation on December 3rd. With that, Mr. Chairman, I'll conclude my presentation.
Okay, thank you. That's a very, very thorough set of plans. It really doesn't leave a lot to question. The darkened areas where the tractor trailers, the bituminous, that's a heavier duty pavement for trucking.
Yeah, it's a thicker pavement section that provides for better load capacity for heavier vehicles.
And all the runoff from that area is going towards the store, towards the driveway on the, what would be the southeast side, southwest side.
Yeah, it's going to end up getting picked up and then head towards that underground chamber that's on the west side of the building.
Okay.
So it ends up going there, and then it goes further north, and then it ties into the existing storm drain system further north of the site. Mhm.
Yeah, I don't. I mean, I'm familiar with the area, and you're barely touching the 100-foot, 150-foot upland review area. So I don't see a need for a site walk, but let's hear from the commission. Andre, do you have any questions? And do you think a site walk is necessary?
I do not have any questions. I am very familiar with the area since I live literally 10 feet away from it, so I do not need a site walk, but I will be more than happy to support anybody else that needs a site walk for it.
The one thing I was interested to see, I've always wondered where exactly the West Hartford Farmington town line goes running through the mall. Now I have my answer. And it's kind of interesting. Okay. Rich Berlandi, any questions? And do you think a sidewalk?
Again, I don't have any questions, and I walked across that area last week, so.
Okay. Dave Fox.
No questions, and I don't need to go to the mall.
Okay, Robert Eisner.
No need for a site walk. And Mr. Heska did a very comprehensive presentation. It's obviously a big project, but I think the wetland portion is pretty minor. I appreciate the chairman's question about the stormwater flow, because that was one of my questions. I think to help us get to a level of comfort for December 3rd and a potential decision, as you work to address the staff comments, I think on the 3rd, your presentation recap could maybe just help identify what minimal impacts there are to the wetlands, and maybe address what the quality of the wetland is to the south of the project. It doesn't look like the presentation tonight indicates that there's any real nexus between the development and potential impact of that wetland resource. But it's, I think you have to help us stay focused on the wetland portion versus while the background was very helpful, I think we have to, as a commission, put our wetland cap on and focus on that wetland portion, which actually looks pretty minimal to the project. I am going to sort of ask a question across the table here to Commissioner Fox, just to make sure that Dave, any additional input on the NDDB discussion? Because I understand you may have had some prior experience in that area.
Yeah, we often had various turtle recommendations. I think the presentation accurately conveyed our standard recommendation probably about 10 years ago, but I can't imagine it's changed much.
Okay, great. And then one final question for the applicant. So this area of the mall, it's currently grassed, right? There was, or was this where there was overflow parking in the past?
Yeah, it's about 60% covered in the turf parking area, and then the balance of that is paved further to the north. If Bruce can zoom in on that.
Yeah, give me 1 sec. I have it kind of sketched out on a near map image. Here we go.
Yeah.
Oh, it didn't show up, of course.
So
It's
what
really
what
down.
our limits are there is that entire that lower portion's paved, and then you can see how Bruce has got outlined there. There's about 3 rows of I'm sorry, the grass pavers are in the southern 2/3, and then the northern third of that shaded area is characterized by the paved parking. So that represents what the limits of our construction would be, reconstruction. Now, there's additional paved parking that's to the west also, and we're not messing that right there. We're not having any impact on that.
Thank you. That's the end of my questions and comments.
Thank you, sir.
I would just add to that, in my familiar area, there is the sediment basin. That's steep grade from the edge of the West Farms Road down to that. So
That's correct. Yeah.
I would think that would be a pretty significant deterrent from turtles coming up from that sediment, basin and crossing 4 lanes of West Farms Mall traffic and then getting into that area. So
Yeah, everything the research I've done that indicates that they really like to stay in the flat wetlands area, and they cross from one wetland to another. A lot of times, if you have a low road crossing, that's where you see them go across. And they're looking for breeding purposes and laying their eggs, are looking for sandy soils. The soils along that north border of that detention basin are steep, and they're not natural, and they're fill materials that were brought in the original construction of the mall. So I don't think that's really a type of terrain that the turtles would naturally want to cross. But again, I think it's precautionary to put a barrier up there along the edge of the road anyway. So we propose to do
yeah,
that.
I agree. Okay, Mark Simpson.
I don't need a site visit. I don't think I look at it from the wetlands point of view. This is a minimal impact to the project is minimal impact to it. I do have a non-wetlands question. Maybe Bruce can answer this. I just want to have perspective about how big this building is. How does this compare to the Unionville Stop and Shop? I thought that was like 40,000 square feet, and this is 50. Am I correct in my memory correct, or maybe you
No,
can
I had it jotted on the plans. I want to say they were almost the same.
about the same?
Yeah, okay, because I was figuring out square footage for sewer usage and all that, and I'm almost positive it was just relatively the same.
And the Stop and Shop in Unionville was not their normal, big, stores. So this is
No, it wasn't.
this is not something like a supersized store. Its size is more moderate than say large. So that's the only question I had.
Yeah,
That's all.
and Mr. Simpson, if you're familiar with Middletown, there's one that was recently built a couple years ago that is the same footprint of the store, or 99% the same as the store. It's on Route 17 in Middletown.
Yeah. Well, now I know where it is. All right. Thank you.
Mhm.
Okay, Alana.
No further questions, and I don't think a site walk is necessary.
Okay. All right, so first thing we'll do is chair entertain a motion to accept the application.
So moved.
So move by, second by Robert.
Okay. Motion been made and seconded to accept the application. All those in favor say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstain? Motion passes. I don't know. I understand Robert's concern in regards to whether or not we want to determine tonight if this is well, let's see. Give me 1 minute. I mean, is this is significant? I would say, I don't think, I really don't think it is. I think it's just that small portion, being in a 150-foot area. But I don't have a problem if we want to vote on, if we don't want to vote on significance until we see the staff's comments addressed. What's the feelings? Any comments from the commission onto voting for significance tonight?
Yeah, Mr. Chairman, if I could, I hope I didn't confuse the matter. I would agree, and I'm happy to make a motion. This is a non-significant regulated
Okay.
activity. My point was to try and focus the discussion for the December 3rd presentation, just to help. Again, it's a big project, but I think the wetland portion
Right.
is very small. So I think it was very helpful to have the applicant give us the full background, but with a more focused presentation next month, to help emphasize, give us the information we need, to include that there's really nothing outside of, the technical back and forth that Bruce and staff will be doing between now and December 3rd.
Yeah.
That was the point I was trying to make. So
Okay. Yeah, I think I
with
did
that
something
background,
different.
I would make a motion to find the application as or no, Bruce, we can't do that tonight, right?
No, you can't.
Yeah.
We usually wait for a site, if we have a site walk, we usually wait, but the polling showed that nobody wanted a site walk or thought.
Correct. But Bruce,
So,
administratively, can we determine significance tonight?
Yes.
Okay, then I will make a motion that this application is a non-significant regulated activity.
And this
I
is
agree.
Mark, and this is Mark, and I would second that.
All right, motion been made and second that this is not a significant activity, seeing that it only touches a small corner of the 150-foot upland review area. So motion been made and seconded. All those in favor say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstain? Motion passes for non-significance. Okay, so to the applicant, continue to work with the town staff, getting the town's comments addressed, and we will see you in early December.
Well, thank you very much, Commissioners, Mr. Chairman. Appreciate it.
Very good. Good luck. All right. Old business, cease and desist.
Brickyard Road, that is null and void at this point, so I would probably say if we can just get a motion to close out the cease and desist and make note of the recent approval for the restoration plan.
So
Okay,
moved.
Chairman. Okay, so who moved?
Well,
I did, Andre.
Right, and a second?
Dave will second.
Okay. Motion made and seconded that, as Bruce explained, the cease and desist is null and void, seeing that we have approved the application in the previous part of the meeting for 148 Brickyard Road.
We won't say null and void, sorry, we'll say closed. It's closed.
All right, we'll say closed.
Closed.
Closed. Better language, thank you.
Yep, thank you.
All right, motion been made and seconded that the cease and desist item is closed for this. Oh, yeah, I did. So all those in favor say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Come on, a couple more ayes here.
Can
All
I
right,
vote twice?
Opposed? Abstain? Motion passes. All right, cease and desist, 114 West Avon Road.
Spoke with the owner. She's been having difficulty getting people to get back to her. I gave her a list as well as the state list of soil scientists. So she's been having difficulty getting people back, people returning her call. But she has contact or has talked with a landscape architect, and they're going to start drawing something up. I told her that that's great. However, see if that landscape architect works with a wetland scientist and to coordinate with them because the commission is going to want to see a discussion about the wetlands as well as the restoration plan. So
Yeah.
so she is working on that. All right.
Okay. Other business. I have something. Bruce, on what do they call it? Go Happy gas station, Route 177 in
So-
Burlington Road. Is it What is it? Happy?
No, it's Go Happy.
Go Happy. Okay. There's lots of bare and unplanted soil around, you know, the sediment basin and on the property, and it's too light to get anything growing now. So I think they're going to need some sort of protection, straw or whatever. Hey, can you have someone check that out and maybe advise or see if
Yeah, well,
I'm
that's us.
wrong?
That's us. We've been waiting for the as-built. They just finished that not too long ago, so I'm not sure if they threw any seed in there or anything in there. So we're still waiting for the as-built. We need to get out there, do our site walk with them with the as-built and
Okay.
develop a punch list. But I definitely will put something in there for that.
Okay.
All right.
All right. Election of officers. I have had discussions with the vice chair and secretary. They are willing to continue in their positions. Is there anybody else interested in those positions or mine? Speak now or forever hold your peace. I have had a discussion with myself, and I was able to talk myself into running for another term. So I will entertain a motion for the election of officers. Can we do all three at once, Bruce? Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, we
For,
did that in the past.
Dave Fox as secretary, Robert Eisner as vice chair, and Ned Stanchion as chair. Can I have that motion, please?
So move,
moved.
Rich.
Okay. Moved in a second.
I'll second. Yeah, I'll second.
All right. Moved and seconded for a slate of officers. All those in favor say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstain? New officers are reelected. Planners report, Tungus Golf Plantation.
All right, I'll make this quick. It's getting late, but I did do a drive-through with them not too long ago. Okay. There you go. Just get to that page. If you remember, we met with them regarding the tree removal and all that work. So they want to get started on some of this fall and winter. So if you zoom in over here, clubhouse. No, that's no. Why can't I find the club? Oh, it's over here. I hate this image here. Yeah, so right here. Clubhouse is here. So we did two things. We drove out here, drove this whole area, looked at the trees in here, as well as coming down here, and drove along a good portion of the trees along the river. So we did review it. There are some trees in some not very good shape, and trees that are overhanging the turf. So we did work out a plan to get those cut. In addition, they have started or almost finished all that channel work that was done. This was that first application earlier in the year.
Yep.
That they did, and I got a folder right here. So there's the clubhouse in the distance. So they did go through, clean out all that sediment and regrade that swale through there so it'll flow. So they're gonna stabilize that. Well, this was 2 weeks ago, so they've already put some seed on there to get that stabilized. So
Very good.
all right. So just to give everyone a heads up that they are working on that. So if anyone does happen to go out there and plays around the golf, they understand that, or they don't call me and say, "What's going on?" So
Okay.
all right. So that's that.
All right, minutes. Chair will entertain a motion to approve the minutes of October 15th, 2025 Inland Wetlands Commission.
So move, Mark.
All right, motion been made. A second, please.
Seconded.
Okay, motion been made and seconded to approve the minutes of October 15th. All those in favor say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Opposed, abstain, motion passes. And we have the approval of the minutes from the November 1st site walk. Chair will entertain a motion to approve the November 1st minutes. Tell me.
So moved by Robert.
All right. And a second,
Rich.
please. All right, motion made and second to approve the minutes of November 1st. All those in favor say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed,
Who seconded that?
abstained.
Abstain,
Who second-
Mark.
Oh,
Thanks,
Mark, all right,
Steve.
Mark's abstained. Okay.
Yep.
I'm abstaining as well.
And okay, so we have two abstains.
Who second? Yeah, who seconded that? Because we didn't hear it. Did anyone second the motion?
Robert, I think Robert made the motion.
Exactly. He made the motion, but I didn't hear the second.
Seconded it.
Who did?
Rich.
All right, Rich, thank you. Keeps cutting out. I'm sorry. On our side, we keep getting a cutout on the voice. Thank you.
Okay. Seeing any further comments or questions from the commission? We will adjourn the meeting at 9:34 and move on to Conservation Commission meeting. Call the meeting order at 9:35. Is there any new business?
Not on my side.
Planners report?
Nothing.
Just for any comment, I did look into the annual whatever, what is it called again, Bruce?
I don't know.
Meet-
The Kakiwook?
Yeah.
Oh, Kakiuk, sorry, that, yes.
Yeah, I went back and checked again, and yeah, there's no more availability.
Closed.
So
Yeah.
maybe next year. No planners report, so Chair entertain a motion to approve the minutes of October 15th, Conservation Commission.
So moved by Robert.
Second, Mark.
All right, motion's been made and seconded for October 15th minutes. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstain?
Rich will abstain.
Okay. And motion passes. And we will, if there's no other comments, we will adjourn at 9:36.